What's up, y'all? So, about a couple of days ago, I was talking to my boy Derek. Derek is one of my closest friends, right? I met Derek when I was in college at Mississippi Valley State University, and we were talking to one another. We were talking about the importance of generational wealth and being your boss, being your own boss, in every way possible. And we spoke about how that's not preached to people in the black community. That's not something that we're taught. That is something that a lot of other ethnicities teach their people, but it's not something that's taught amongst black people. I can't speak for all black people, of course, but I know a lot of black people, we're not taught that. We're taught to go to college, get you a degree, get you a career, and you work. And you work for somebody else ultimately, and really work for somebody else until you retire. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with having a 9-to-5. I got a 9-to-5. And a lot of other people do as well. Nothing wrong with it at all. You got to be able to feed your family and do it in a legal manner and do it as best as possible, right? The thing that I've realized as I've gotten older is that when you work a 9-to-5, the game is not set up for you to get rich or get wealthy working a 9-to-5. It's not. Your boss will pay you well. Some may even pay you a little handsomely, but never to the point where you're getting rich or being wealthy. And that's the difference between working for yourself. It's just like when I promise y'all, I was sitting and I was thinking to myself just at work, like if everything at my job just shut down and everything stopped working and we were all gone and let go and all that type of stuff, I was like, dang, for a lot of people, and this is a while ago, for a lot of people, including myself, that is my only income. So it's like, what's going to happen if something like that does happen? And knock on wood, but I'm just saying. I'm like, wow, like what else? What would happen if that ultimately happened? I ain't had no income coming in no other way. So it's like, what's going to happen at that point? And it made me think like, man, it's always important to have multiple streams of income, always. And one thing I really was thinking about is it's always important to have income where you don't have to clock into a job every single day. And I'm like, man, I really got to start thinking along those type of lines. And again, there's nothing wrong with having a 9-to-5. It's a beautiful thing to be able to provide for your family in a legal manner, and you working hard for your money. But at the same time, sometimes you want to work smarter, not harder, as my late great-grandfather would tell me, man. Sometimes you don't want to have to deal with the rigors of, or like having an answer to a whole bunch of people and you being in an environment where you can't really be yourself. You know what I mean? And that's not, nobody wants to be in an environment where they're walking on eggshells all the time. Because I've heard stories about people working for bosses who are absolutely horrible, but they work this job all for the sake of saying, hey, I got a job and I can be able to provide for my family with this. I'm like, man, nah, that's not the way to get rich. It's not the way to get wealthy. You always got to have multiple streams of income. And it's always good to have a job where you don't got to clock in to get paid. And me and Derek was talking about some other ways to make these things possible, which I'll talk about in a later video. But I remember when I was in college, right, and I was saying that my ultimate dream goal, even when I was in high school, I was saying my ultimate dream goal was to be on one of these big time networks and be a TV analyst for one of these prime time places. You know, talking about sports, because that's what I love. And y'all see me talk about sports so much on this channel. I talk about entertainment news and stuff in music and all of that as well. But I talk about a lot of sports. And I'm like, man, I want to be on these networks. I want to be that guy that makes that call. I want to be that sports anchor and this and that. But then as I got older, I'm thinking, man, you know what? When you working for someone else, even at these big networks, you can't necessarily talk about the things you want to talk about. You can't say the things that you want to say, not being vulgar or anything like that, but you can't say some of the things that you want to say. Some people may deem it where, hey, it's too controversial to talk about. We don't want to talk about that. We don't want to ruffle any feathers, so you shouldn't say this or you shouldn't say that. Even if I want to talk about my alma mater, Mississippi Valley State University, These big time networks not gonna let me talk about NVSU because they're not in one of the Power 6 conferences. They're not a team that's on the national radar. So they're not gonna even let me talk about my alma mater and what's going on in my school or what's going on at the local high school that's doing extremely well in sports. They're not even gonna let me talk about that at all. And I'm like, man, if I had something that's my own, I could really be myself and show my true personality. I could really talk about the things that I want to talk about and also speak to people that I want to reach and speak to people that maybe I had no intentions of reaching. It just happened to hear what I want to talk about. But I'm like, man, that wouldn't happen that's not going to happen if I work at one of these big time networks. Big networks. I can't ultimately talk about everything that I want to talk about. I can't naturally just be myself for real, because it's a certain way some networks want you to be, and that's facts, that's reality. But yeah, I'm like, man, it's always good to work for yourself and be your own boss, man. I'm seeing what Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson are doing with their podcast, Up in Smoke. I don't smoke weed. I never smoked weed a day in my life. I never smoked nothing a day in my life. But them brothers on their channel, they smoking their weed, which is legal, you know, and it's getting legalized a lot of different places, and it's getting monetized. Strangely, after a lot of black brothers was getting locked up for so long for selling cannabis, for selling marijuana, they was getting locked up for it, and now it's just being monetized now. Go figure. But anyway, they smoking on their show. They talking about stuff they want to talk about. They having guests that the guests that they want to have come on talk on their platform, and they being comfortable. You know, they talking in their regular slang. They talking in they just talking about things that they want to talk about in an exciting in an exciting manner. And that's always dope, man. It's always dope to have something that's your own, to have your own platform, so where you can call your own shots. You know, there's nothing wrong with working under somebody, but eventually it's sometimes it gets rough sometimes having to answer to so many different people, because sometimes when you work under people, some bosses per se, they don't recognize how to treat employees. Sometimes they don't care about you having a life outside of work. They work you to death. Some of them don't even want to pay you what you deserve. They try to add things to your job duties without increasing your pay. That happens a lot in the job field, and it's like in the professional world. And that's not something that I stand for. It's something that I'm about, you know. And again, grateful for my 9 to 5, but at the same time, I realized that in order to create generational wealth for my family, I know that I have to do something else outside of that. I know that I have to be involved in businesses and business ventures outside of just having a 9 to 5. I know I have to aspire to be my own boss and be a boss in several different aspects of my life. I know that I have to have income ultimately where I don't have to clock in. The money is working and it's coming in, and I'm just sitting back and I'm chilling on my off day. I'm chilling and I'm getting paid. That is a great feeling, man. And a lot of other people, a lot of other ethnicities, that is what they teach to their children, to their grandchildren, to their cousins, to their little brothers, to their sisters. They teach that in their families. And that's not something that a lot of our people teach. But yeah, I remember, like, and I was in college and I was thinking about that, and the guy told me, like, man, you love talking about Valley Sports. A lot of these other networks don't even care. They don't give a damn about what Valley is doing. They don't care about, what Valley's men's basketball team is doing. We had a basketball team at one point won 17 straight games and was making almost went undefeated in their conference play. And we got some national headlines, but it was some people that still didn't even want to come talk about my university. Didn't want to come visit, didn't want to come down to the South, to Itta Bena, Mississippi, and couldn't care less about what was going on with the school, even though the basketball team was excelling and competing well against top programs as well, not just in conference play. But yeah, man, I know that your creativity is bound. It's restricted when you're working for somebody else. There are strict guidelines to things. Sometimes the bosses are disgruntled people. They don't recognize that other people have lives outside of their job, because it's some bosses that only live to work. That's the only thing they live to do is work, 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 work. They're workaholics, and they think everybody else should be the same way, when in reality, no. A lot of other people want to have fun. They want to enjoy their time with their family. They want to enjoy the fruits of their labor, and they also want to relax sometimes. They don't want to be stressed out 24/7. You got bosses that will stress you out like hell. Like hell, continuously, and then expect you to still be working at a high volume, a high rate, and produce, but they stressing you out, and they putting a whole bunch on you that is ridiculous, and then don't want to pay you on top of that. So it's like, nah, man. It's important that, yes, while you have a 9-to-5, also have other streams of income, other ways of getting money. Have it in your mind to for financial independence, and to be to have your own thing going, man. My homie Derek told me about this book. What is it? Poor Dad, Rich Dad. And I gotta read that. I'm gonna check it out for sure, so I can get a better thought process on being financially independent, man. But yeah, man, I just know that there's a lot of times working for people, man, you will be stressed out coming home and just be thinking about work 24/7 because your boss is on your ass, on your butt about doing certain stuff. And you can't even enjoy your time with your family, with your kids, because you're just so stressed out about what's going on at work. And when you work for your own self, not saying you won't be stressed working for yourself, because there are stresses involved in that as well. But at the end of the day, you know that you work on your own time. You don't have to come to work 6 in the morning. You don't got to do all this, all of that. You set your own hours. And you truly, you know, you be your own boss. You truly are doing your thing. And it's something that when you have your own thing, you're passionate about it because it's you. It's your brand. You take pride in it. So you're going to work passionately in it. You know what I mean? Not saying you don't take passion in working a 9-to-5. But at the same time, it's like, it's a different feeling. You know, and when you have your own thing, it's beautiful because you can hire your people. Right? You can hire your people. You can hire, and I'm not just talking about hire your own. I'm not even just talking about hiring just black people, but I'm saying people that you want to hire, people that you love, people that you care about, people that you want to be put in position to succeed. That's always boss, but it's important to put your family on. I'm gonna put my family on and my people, man, especially my black people I see in the community that are hard workers, that's really trying to do something, they can't get the opportunities. I would love to do those type of things for my people, man. I would love to do the type of things for my family, to put my family in position to be successful and keep the wealth rolling. So my grandkids and my great-grandkids could live great. That's something that I'm about, man. But yeah, man, I'm rambling right now, but I was just having a discussion with my boy Derek, and we like, man, all this we got to do. We went to college. We got our master's degrees. My homie Derek is en route to get his PhD. And we looking like, man, a lot of these student loans and all this, trying to pay back all this debt. Then we got to work for somebody else and all of this and all of that, man. Like, man, it's important to be your own boss and work for yourself and get the money rolling, man. Not saying excuse me, not saying that it's easy. It's not easy, but it's something that I don't think we even explore or even think about. I know you got to start somewhere. You got to start at your 9-to-5 to sometimes get where you want to go if you don't got the type of connections to get your feet on the ground and start rolling. But it's always a great thing when you got your own business. You can set your own hours, be your true self, do what you want to do, but at the same time, your creativity is not restricted. Machiavelli Mills TV. Peace.